Greetings everyone, my name is Jennifer Collins and today I'm going to make the dish called kale soup. It's a dish I've made several times with my husband, but I'm going to attempt to make it by myself using the following ingredients. First thing you need is water in a large pot, chunks of beef, bones to get that hearty beef flavored stock, olive oil, potatoes, onions, garlic, bay leaves, kale, garbanzo beans or chickpeas, a can of diced tomatoes, and Portuguese sausage. I had this sausage sent to me from my father-in-law in Fall River, Massachusetts, so it's pretty legit. Now all the other ingredients can be bought at your local grocery store. And it's really the kind of dish you can add anything you want to. And what makes it kale soup is the sausage and the kale. So I like to prepare my ingredients prior to turning on any heat. So first thing is wash and cut your potatoes. They don't have to be really big in size, it really depends on your preference. The bigger the chunks of potatoes, the longer they take to cook. And then I also drain and rinse the chickpeas. You prepare the kale by roughly chopping or just peeling off the leaves off of the stem, because you don't want to eat the stem, it's a little tough to cook and to eat. You also drain the can of tomatoes just a little bit because we don't want a lot of the sauce. We just want the tomatoes to give it kind of a sweet taste. On the Portuguese sausage, you would remove the casing and cut into 1/4-inch slices at an angle or straight on. It depends again on your preference. And also I like to crush the bay leaves. You can also leave them whole if you want, just they're not always too edible, so again, by preference. So you boil the water with the bones for about 10 minutes to get that nice hearty beef flavored stock. After about that time, you remove the bones and after all the flavor has been extracted, and you switch it for the chunks of beef. So the amount of water you use can depends on how many servings you actually want to make. I'm making a large pot of this because I'm actually making this for a family of 12 because we're having a big family dinner today. So as the water is boiling with the chunks of beef in it, I take the olive oil and the Portuguese sausage, onions and garlic, and saute it in a saute pan over medium heat for about 10 minutes, just as long as you're boiling the beef. So one of the reasons why I chose to make this dish is because it's perfect comfort food for cold weather, day or night. Also, my husband is actually part Portuguese, and the first time he took me to a Portuguese restaurant in Fall River, Massachusetts, where his mother's side of the family is from, I fell in love with the soup and I told him I was going to learn how to make it just like that. So after the sauteing is done, you add the sauteed sausage to the pot of boiling water and reduce to medium heat. And then you basically throw everything else in, the seasonings, the bay leaves, the kale, salt and pepper. You can even add red pepper flakes to add some heat if you want. So you would add the potatoes to make sure that you cook it for 5 to 10 minutes, or at least until the potatoes are tender and they'll soak up all of that flavor. You would then add the chickpeas, can of tomatoes, and the kale. So the kale will wilt or soften up in about 2 minutes, and you'll notice that it'll go from that dry greenish color to a really nice dark color. So then you would reduce the heat to medium-low and allow to cook for another 5 to 10 minutes, just so that all of it gets incorporated into the actual soup. Then you would add salt and pepper to taste. And as an added bonus, I like to buy bread like French baguettes or any kind of bread you would use to dip sauces or soups with to sop up the soup. It just adds a little something more to an already amazing dish.